In a world of adrenaline and heroes rising against all odds, three friends gather eager to discuss the electrifying thrills of dark adventures, mind-bending realities, explosive battles, and hidden gems. Unleash raw power, experience heart-stopping moments, and join them on an adventure that will ignite your imagination. Get ready to dive into a world of action movies as they explore top picks, honorable mentions, and timeless classics. Prepare for a gripping conversation that will keep you craving the rush of these action-packed masterpieces. Coming soon to a podcast near you. Get ready, because this is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Leave your favorites in the comments and join the adventure. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Welcome to the Rushmore Show, friends, and we have a special announcement. Andy is back, and he is going to let us know all about what's going on in his life. Andy, how's baby Daphne? What's going on in the Ricketts household? And catch us up.
First of all, it's awesome to be back. I feel like it's been like a month since I've been here, even though it's only been 1 week. But before I get into that, Paul and Kenny, man, great job last week. That was naturals. I mean, obviously, Paul is a wily old veteran when it comes to the Rushmore Show. But Kenny, last minute coming in like a professional.
Let me tell you how that happened. Let me tell you, it was just going to be me and Paul. We were going to roll, and Paul said, "Hey, Kirk, I don't have your phone number. Shoot me your number real quick." Anyway, we get together, get on the phone, and he says, "Well, I'm glad I got your number now. I got a question for you. My brother, he's ready on a whim, and he'll be ready to go. And he loves to read, and he loves movies." And I was like, "Bro, what a cool idea!" And so I was like, "We won't even tell Andy. We'll just kind of just do it and let him be all surprised." But I knew he wanted to be on because we talked at the convention.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. So great job, guys. But yeah, so it's so nice to be back. Daphne is amazing. Thank you guys for the shout out last week. It has been, at this point of filming, she's about 2 weeks old, which if you've ever had a kid, you know what the first 2 weeks of that child's life is like. It's just a lot of not sleeping and a lot or broken sleep and just schedules are all different. So I wasn't here last week trying to figure out schedules and stuff. We're kind of got her on a schedule now, even though we're still have some broken sleep, but it's, it's all part of the game. So, but she's doing great. We've been blessed. It has been an amazing time, bringing her home, having the other girls being big sisters now. Has always been a big sister, but now Amelia gets to be a big sister too. So it's been really awesome. Then on top of all of that, many of you, we've said it before, I'm a pastor too. Our church is moving locations. So we are physically relocating from one building, a church of 1,000 people, moving to another church that is fully furnished and everything. So there's all of that chaos that happens. And then, we have Vacation Bible School. That's literally at the time of filming right now, about a week and a half away. So we are in the middle of everything.
Yeah, man.
Happening at once, but it's great. It's awesome. Got a great team. Obviously, got a great family, and there's just awesome stuff. So, but all that saying, I'm very excited to be back.
Hey, we are growing fast and furious. 367 by what I saw. Literally, we've gotten 110 new subscribers. Welcome to the family since convention. So, I mean, we rolled all the way into there our first year and a half with 220, and then we add it by a third, if you will, going now. So great opportunity. But look, that's enough of talking about us. It's time to get into the show. It's week 3 of May the Blockbuster Be With You. And it being week 3, we are going to bring in one of our good friends back. He was in our toy episode, and back in the day. And so we're going to bring our old friend back, but we're going to talk about action movies. He loves action figures, so we're going to bring in action movies. And we're going to do that Rushmore today. Dude, are you excited about action movies, Andy?
Well, this car has been slowly exploding behind me for the past 30 minutes. And maybe by the time we're done, I can walk away from this without looking back at it. No, action movies, action movies are cool. I'll talk about this a little bit in my criteria. Obviously, 2 weeks ago we did comedies, and that is like my forte. It is everything about it.
Yeah.
And this action is a great. I do love action movies. They're not my go-to, but with that said, I'm very excited about hearing your top four, hearing our guests' top four, and then surprising you with some of my picks today.
Yeah. Hopefully Mulan is not on this list. So
I will tell you.
Okay. All right. Rushmore community. Before we get going, leave your top four down in the comments, and let's see what we got for your Rushmore of action movies. Let's get it. All right, Rushmore community, we are back and ready to rumble. And let's get ready to rumble! And dude, I am ready to bring on one of my great friends, one of my old wrestling friends, one of my Air Force friends, and coming all the way back from August. We're going to have, I think, coming up soon, too, in Video Game Month. So he's coming for his second time. Already got his third time booked. We're welcoming back to the show my buddy, BJ Hines. What's up, BJ? Baby Ox. There he is.
Look at him.
Bringing out the action merman. Right off the bat, a little merman.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Yes. Look, BJ, right there. Guess who's back? Back again. There's Fezzik right up there. Fezzik and Superman.
Hey.
But bro, I'm excited to have you. Tell me what's been going on in Baby Ox's life. Why would you come on action movies? Tell me about your TikTok. Tell the audience where they can find you, and let's get rolling.
You can find me on TikTok under Baby Ox 78. Usually posting a lot of videos about the action figures that I collect, video games I'm playing with my family and my friends, and tell you the truth, I have a couple of friends from the UK and from Australia who supports me a lot. And, I never knew that collecting action figures and bringing it to the forefront or to the people was so big like this. But pretty much a lot of stores that I buy figures from, pretty much as soon as I stepped through the door, they was like, "Hey, it's Ox." Like, "Hey, how you doing?" But between that, my family's business is doing well, selling honey and everything. Everything is good. Everything is blessed. Everything is blessed.
Man, that's amazing. Awesome. That's amazing. So, guys, follow him on TikTok. He is a collector, and jump in there and give him some love. He's been doing some giveaways, and we're gonna get started. Yeah, we're going to get started with our first Rushmore, right? We're going to start at Rosie. BJ, give us your criteria and give us your first movie on the mountain.
Well, my criteria was pretty much an action movie that kind of changed the genre, something that I could probably, having a hard day or whatever, or just I need some action, I can pop this movie in, sit back, relax, and enjoy myself. And my Rosie is The Matrix.
Wow. Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. Like a mosquito.
both barrels.
Four
Wow.
barrels. All right, bro. So tell me about the Matrix. Tell me about the Matrix.
From the action choreography of Chow Yun Fat to Keanu Reeves to Lawrence Fishburne to even um the special effects was a step above this of most of the movies put out around by that time. I kind of say it was almost like, when I say a step above, it was almost just like the lightning character from Big Trouble in Little China. Like it was
Raiden wins.
It stepped the game up, because even to all the other movies that made parodies and fun off of the special effects from that movie, like I said, it really popped for a lot of people.
So here's my question. This is a debate. Now, one of the iconic, lines or moments in the movie is the red pill or the blue pill, right? So the red pill is you understand the Matrix, you kind of step outside of that and understand it. And the blue pill is you just keep living in the Matrix just as normal illusion, basically. So given those choices, Kirk, I'm going to ask you first, and I'm going to go to BJ since this is your pick. But red pill or blue pill, where are you going? This is a heated question.
So no, because I've watched the movie. Watched the movie. Now that I know what happens on the other side, I would stay. In the Matrix.
You'd be blue.
Yeah, but if I would have never, seen the outcome, I'm taking the red. I'm taking the red.
What about you, BJ?
Red pill was reality.
Yeah.
Red pill. I myself deal in logic, common sense, and facts, and it's the way I look at it is better to know than to stay asleep, I guess.
Check him. He's gone. Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
Now get up.
Yeah, right. Dude, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is definitely one of my favorite movies. I think this is, and I'm excited that you said this movie, BJ, because in my first time meeting you back in the day, back when I used to borrow the Mustang, right? Back in that time frame, I had a couple movies in my collection that I watched almost every day. And this was one of them. I love this movie. I love the whole series. I even like the new one that just came out. What was it? On HBO Max. And it's all awesome. This just changed the perspective of the Bill and Ted to who he is now. I love this pick. I'm actually kind of shocked you went there, and I'm stoked. Andy, do you like the movie?
I do like this movie. It's coming off of my Benjamins.
Okay.
Matrix. So here's the thing is that we're talking about a saga of movies, because what, 4 installments, whatever it is. I mean, more than that. I
So
don't even
yeah,
know.
now it's 4, and if you count the Animatrix,
Well,
5.
yeah, and then there's that. So 5 for
right?
Animatrix.
So yeah.
But I will tell you this, and as classic and iconic as The Matrix is, the first one, I was a big fan of number 3. Was it Revolution or what was it? Whatever Matrix 3. Was that the one with the twins that were like
Revolutions
the blonde?
and Reloaded
Revolutions.
were the
Revolution.
were the other two.
Revolution. And the car chase scene in that one is really cool. So that's a really good one. But I mean, overall, the whole thing, dude, the Animatrix, don't sleep on that. That's really good too. Like the whole saga, everything. You gotta love Keanu Reeves, man. I mean, this is all pre-John Wick stuff too. So he got maybe we're alluding to something later.
Well, you're alluding to something.
But yeah, so you cannot go wrong with this movie. So many things that have just iconic scenes. We talk about the dodging the bullet scene and all that kind of just amazing stuff. So
I mean, I still kind of do that every once in a while, like act like I'm in the Matrix, and you're like, dude,
Matrix
my favorite
verb. Like, dude, he just Matrixed that. Like, I mean, like if you dodge something, whatever.
Yeah. So, all right, Andy, you've been gone a second, and I think, do you want to take this attempt to jump in now, or you want to go last?
No, I don't want to delay it any longer. It's been long enough that I've been asked. Let me get in as soon as I can. So let me get started with my criteria. Action movies, right? There are some movies that when you say action movies, you're going to say the GOATs. Like they're some of the greatest, just classic. I mean, look behind me, like explosions and just manly raw stuff, right? We already talked about action actors, right? In January when we did Manuary. So I wanted to stay away from the classics in that sense. Also a big element for me.
So when you say the classics, you're talking about like Rambo type thing.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. When you're gonna just say, when I think action movies, I go to these, right? I'm going past that. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit deep. Some deep cuts. Now, the other element that I really love about movies in general is I love comedy. And we know that happened 2 weeks ago. So all 4 of mine have elements of comedy. I wouldn't call them comedy movies. Now, they have elements of comedy, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And these movies, for me, are just movies that I remember from my childhood. I picked all movies from the 90s. All 4 of mine are from the 90s. They all hold a special place in my heart, and they all probably don't hold special places in most critics' hearts. They've become sort of cult classic-y kind of things. And I know we're talking about changing Genesis next week, so I'm working it into this week too. So that's kind of where I'm at here. So I don't think that you're going to debate that these are action movies. Maybe one or two, maybe one of them, the one I'm about to say, but definitely not like Mulan and war movies. Okay, I'll give you that. I will say that. But you may debate that I chose these 4 movies. I'll just keep it at that. So all of that to say, I'm going to start with my Rosie. This movie's not good. This is not like. let me clarify my statement. This movie is so not good that it's good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we have Dallas coming up soon, and he's part of that Bottom Shelf podcast. This is absolutely a bottom shelf movie. But for me in my childhood and when I'm growing up, this movie got me so excited. I didn't know it was this bad then. But now looking back at it, it's like, this movie's not great. And I'm going to go to 1994. And BJ, you're going to be joining us in several whatever video games are happening. This is loosely based on a video game. I'm going 1994's classic Street Fighter. Street Fighter is my Rosie. I see it.
Are you man enough to fight with me?
Anyone who opposes me will be destroyed.
Connor, you can't!
Oh yes, I can. Just take the hostages out. If I'm not topside in 15 minutes, evacuate without me.
You have made me a happy man.
Next, I'll make you a dead one. Yeah!
You have to do better than that.
Okay. That's patrolling. That's where soldiers.
Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile, the worst casting in probably any movie. But follow me, guys. Follow me here. Follow me here. I know it's bad, but it's so bad it's good. It's so bad that I rewatch it just for those reasons. Now, again, 1994. I'm 5 years old. I don't care that this movie has nothing to do with the video game. I don't care that the casting's horrible. I don't care about that. I'm seeing Street Fighter on TV as real people. It's freaking cool. Like, so this is where I'm at. Again, we talk about Jean-Claude Van Damme. I was doing some research before. There was a lot of like drama behind the scenes and changing of like the Capcom wanted to add 16 characters where the director wanted 7. They kept adding characters and they had to rewrite plot and script and all this kind of stuff. And essentially what it did is it made all these main characters like cameos in the Cammy hardly had anything happening in the movie, and she's a big character when it comes to Street Fighter. Like it wasn't done well, but there was a lot of drama to it. I think in when I read about it, I think the director meant well. I think that it's just with production companies and money and all this, like, so you get Jean-Claude Van Damme and he counts for like 1/3 of the total budget. Like, so that's shot immediately. And he's what Guile is America. What are we anyway? So I guess you're going to have this big name actor. M. Bison was played
by Gomez Adams.
You still refuse to accept my godhood. Keep your own god. In fact, this might be a good time to pray to him. For I beheld Satan, and he fell from heaven like lightning.
Yeah. Well, so this was actually his last movie. He passed away of cancer right after the filming of this movie. So I found that out too. So just so many crazy things. They changed it. It's not really about the street fighting. It's kind of about two military, like everything was like just not what you think. Looking at it now, as a child, I didn't care. It was awesome. It's so campy. It's so bad. But like, oh, and I also found this out. This is interesting. You know who the original thought to play Vega? Again, Vega, I loved Vega's character. Hardly just afterthought in the movie. You know who was originally going to play Vega? I couldn't believe this, but it's real. Freaking Fabio. Fabio was in line to do this. It's crazy. It would have been even worse, bad and good at the same time if that had happened. It's so great. But here's the thing. It's become that kind of thing, that endearing thing. And unfortunately, to me, at least in my opinion, I don't think any movie that's been put out for the Street Fighter series has done any justice for this for the video game, for anything like that. I think they've tried to do. Look, worse than this one is the Chun-Li debacle that came out at one point. I will put this movie over the Chun-Li movie. That was horrible. But yeah, all of these things, man, it's so bad that it's good. And Bison is just fun fights between him. You know, they had to film in Thailand, and then they filmed in Australia, and then they came back and they filmed in Vancouver because they forgot to film parts. Like, just reading about this, I'm like, how did this even come out? But you know what's surprising is that it actually it was a success. Like, based on the budget, it grossed over $99 million worldwide. Again, we say that's whatever, but I mean, based on what they spent on it and what they expected to happen and all of the horrible reviews, it's done it's done okay. And again, it has become a cult classic because it's so bad that it's good. And that's my Rosie is
all right.
I know you're all gonna hate it. I get it. I understand it.
No. Let me just jump in. First off, you named all the reasons why it's terrible. Second off, I brought Jean-Claude Van Damme up in Action Heroes, and if I remember correctly, everybody kind of bashed him. One of them reasons because of Street Fighter. The second thing I'll just bring up is Mortal Kombat is better, and it's a terrible movie. It's a better movie than this. Mortal Kombat 2 is better than this, and it's even worse of a movie. But I do. With all that being said, I have a nostalgic moment in my heart that I do visit this movie every once in a while, just to kind of watch it for 30 seconds. I mean, I don't know what it is. There is a little. You use the word endearing, I believe. Yeah, there's just a little endearing quality of this because, video game movies really bit the big one back in the day, right? We didn't have Super Mario Brothers like we do now, right? And that's a whole nother conversation. But but I know people that still like that movie quite a bit. And so it's because this is why we have the Rushmore Show. And look, I'm getting smashed right now in the comments of all my shorts because I'm just putting out my 4 favorite, and people are like, how can you say that's the best movie of all time? And I'm like, just watch the show, I guess, because that's my 4 favorite movies. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. I mean, whatever. But yeah, definitely not what I would have picked. But hey, I can see why you landed. Yeah. BJ, what you got?
I'm shocked, but hey, you hit all the key points right there. I mean, as far as video game movies, even like Super Mario Brothers back in the day, I'll take Street Fighter over that any day. Hey, I'm shocked, but hey, I can feel you on your Rosie. I can feel you on.
Yeah, I'm not saying the top 4 best movie. I'm not. It's favorite and best. Two different things. So it just brings me back to a place in time where it's just like life didn't matter, and like the fact that E Honda is on screen wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Who cares? Who cares that that's happening? I don't care. Blanca, dude, Blanca's whole look in this movie is atrocious.
Atrocious.
Absolute worst.
The funny thing is, I was going to use that same word. Atrocious.
It's so bad that it's good.
It looks like you can reach out and like grab the fur that's like attached to him and just kind of pull it off.
I went to Party City before and bought like the $9.99 costume, or it's
they cut like an orange couch up and used it for. All right, man.
Hold on. And let's talk about his forehead. It looked like they took Lou Ferrigno's forehead.
Exactly, it was Lou Ferrigno. That's exactly what
let me jump into my Rosie. I'm just going to give you my quick criteria. I love action movies. At a time in my life, the first 6 movies that I'm going to mention, because I'm not guaranteed, but I'm pretty sure my first 2 on my Benjamins have a really good shot at being there, especially if Andy continues to go the route he's going. But these first 6 movies at a time in my life are my favorite movies of all time. If you would have asked me what my favorite movie was, I would go, I have 5 or 6 of them, and this is them. My very first one, oh, by the way, all of these movies, Andy, are in the 90s except one. That one is actually in 2000. And so it's pretty close to the 90s. But my first movie I remembered going to see this movie. I actually bought it, purchased it, and it is the first soundtrack, or actually, it's the first CD I ever purchased in my whole life. And it was the soundtrack for this movie. And that might give you a signal, Andy, of what it is, because I've mentioned that, but none of my movies have been on a list for me ever. So I'm eliminating things that are really hot button, like superhero movies, like the Avengers and things, because those are awesome. I almost give them a whole separate category. I'm also not going back far enough that probably are going to hit the ones you were kind of signaling. Um, but these are all movies that are very important to me, and I love them. And this is what I want in an action movie. So my very first movie is from 1994. It was directed by Alex Proyas, and there was a huge, huge loss in this movie, a death. I'm going with The Crow.
Yeah.
The Crow. My dude, this movie, and let me just say this: all my movies could be number one. This movie was so different. It inspired Sting, the Crow Sting, like, from WCW, and he's now carried that on for quite some time. But Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee, he had only had a few movies at the time, Rapid Fire being one of them, and he's filming this movie, and he's basically a rock star that gets murdered, brutally murdered, along with his girlfriend. And this crow comes down, giving him almost a second lease in life, almost kind of like a purgatory type idea. And like he's kind of avenging his soon to be wife, or his girlfriend, fiance's death. And so he's going after all the people that he killed. And he's got kind of some superhero powers, if you will, but they're more supernatural, I would say, than anything. And it's a real dark film. And one of my favorite lines is, yeah, this guy was killed with a knife. He was stabbed in every organ in alphabetical order. And I mean, The Crow is just an awesome film. It was, again, 1994, and yeah, I know that you guys kind of like this film. I don't know that you'd have it this high, but one of the big things was this soundtrack. Stone Temple Pilots was all over it. Was all over it. I listened to this like crazy. Bought the movie. I don't have the movie or the soundtrack with me today. It's not one of my show and tells, but I do have some show and tells coming up. What do you guys think about The Crow?
I'm shocked. Not that you haven't. I thought it was going to be higher for you, because you talk about this a lot, specifically when you talk about soundtracks, and I knew that that's coming in here. A lot of great movies with great soundtracks. This is definitely one of the top ones. We could probably do that Rushmore at some point and have a great time with that. Mix music and movies together, it would be awesome. But yeah, man, this is a great movie.
You know what? All my films except for one have a really banging soundtrack.
Yeah, well, there you go. I love this.
And that one
I
does
love
have a good one, but it's a different kind of soundtrack.
Yeah.
What BJ, what you think about The Crow?
It's one of my favorites, man. It was also supposed to be in the movie that was basically going to
Elevating.
elevate Brandon into. I mean, he was already a star, but I guess that next level.
Yeah.
And
So for everybody that's out there, Brandon Lee got shot, and then like they were supposed to be blanks, and he got killed, and they finished the film without him, and kind of used some other parts in that they had to go back and film and use stunt doubles and stuff. But I've often tried to go back and watch and see if I can find out where it was at. So, well, this is going to be my Rosie. BJ, I feel you got a little bit of a surprise for the audience. What you got there?
You know, I always got surprises, bro. And there's Eric Draven right there, The Crow.
Nice. That is so sweet. That is so sweet,
That's
dude.
so cool.
What a cool movie. What a cool movie.
You don't have Jean-Claude Van Damme action figure from the Street Fighter movie? It's out there.
No. All right. Well, BJ,
I just picked up 2 Street Fighter figures, but they're more based on the game instead of that.
That's probably better.
Oh, he's got that Chun-Li. All right. So, all right, BJ, you're up, man. It is time for TJ Jazzy Jeff. That's number 3 on the mountain. And yeah, where are you going with your number 2 pick in today's ranking?
This movie is something else. It was actually came from the 80s. And only thing I'm gonna tell you is I'm never old for this ish. Lethal Weapon, bro. Lethal Weapon. With Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, like to me, for the buddy cop action genre, this was a step above itself. It's to me, even if I could have been in an action movie, this would have been like the blueprint of the buddy cop action movie I want to be in, where you have that straightforward, straight narrow guy, and then you have that crazy partner, and he's nuts.
You want to kill yourself? Oh, for Christ. Shut up! Yes or no? You want to die? Yes or no? I got the job done. What the hell do you want? Didn't answer the question. Oh, what do you want to hear, man? Do you want to hear that sometimes I think about eating a bullet? Huh? Well, I do. I even got a special one for the occasion with a hollow point. Every single day I wake up and I think of a reason not to do it every single day. And you know why I don't do it? This is going to make you laugh. You know why I don't do it? The job. You really are crazy.
I would say, it's funny because it's a whole genre of movies is the buddy cop thing. To me, Lethal Weapon elevated it to a place where the whole genre as a whole just has been is great. You get some that are better than others for sure that come out there, but there's some great ones out there. But Lethal Weapon to me is kind of where it all culminates and you get its big start from. I know that there's other really classics too that are out there, but man, dude, great movie. I mean, it's one of the most iconic lines in probably cinema history. Is that
and Gary Busey's in it?
And Gary Busey. There you go. So
Gary Busey's in it.
Well, the only thing that I'm surprised about your pick, right, is that Andy isn't going to pick your pick because he said all his movies are in the 90s, and there's so many 80s movies that just keep running through my head that I can't believe he's not picking, because I know what he's picked in the past, and I know his action heroes, and I'm like, okay,
right, for sure. Yeah.
So and this was mentioned back in Action Heroes with Big Kev. Wasn't it Big Kev that was on that show?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mel was brought up. And man, I love this movie. This is a great film. It's funny. It's like great story, the buddy cop. I mean, but I can't think of some other buddy cop movies that are really, really awesome.
Oh
So
yeah,
this
fantastic.
is this is a jam. I'm not going to mention them because they might make it here. But,
Oh man, I love that pick.
but I love that movie. I love that pick. And wait, Danny Glover is
Yeah.
underrated.
Yeah, let's
Danny
talk
Glover's
about that.
underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Andy, where are you going with round 3? Your number 2 pick.
Oh man, we're continuing the train of look. Okay,
Bottom shelf movies. You're going to keep going bottom shelf.
I think this one is actually not a bad movie, though many people disagree. Some people are on both sides of it. Okay, I don't think this is a bad movie. Certainly not as bad as Street Fighter. I know that you don't think it's good. I know that because you've told me before. I'm gonna go one more year into the future from 1994. I'm going to 95. Okay, we're still staying in the 90s. And we're gonna go with the movie that A is a better franchise than the previous one, and B was a better movie than this one. And you've already said that you don't like it, and I'm going Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is my TJ Jazzy Jeff.
Nice. Well, I'm happy for that.
I really like this movie. Okay, I'm not even afraid to say it. Like, this is a good movie. Again, it's darker, right, than the Street Fighter whole thing. It's a little bit more true to the video game. They actually have combat that's happening, like, so they're true to the characters more so than they were before. Just a lot of really cool things. You know, it follows obviously Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and Sonya Blade, which Veronica Vaughn. But anyway, it's a really good.
Who wears
really,
a size
really
12 shoe?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? I think did we talk about that before?
Yeah.
Did we talk about that before when I did Billy Madison, I think. Anyway,
Yeah.
couple interesting
sorry.
facts about this movie, though. And I found this, very interesting. First of all, one of the best scenes, dude, when it's Johnny Cage and Scorpion is chasing him through that forest. That's when it came out of his hand. Again, as a 6-year-old, I'm like, wow, this is so, get over here. Like, amazing stuff, right? Like, this is just super cool. Like, it's brutal, right? Like, it's kind of gruesome in some of the stuff. Like, the video game Mortal Kombat is a brutal and gruesome video. Like, it just is. So this is a really good movie. You get the scene with Sub-Zero, you get Goro. Yeah, you just got all these really cool things that are happening in this movie. A lot more that I think the complaint is that there's a lot more they could have done with it. But again, we're limited to 1995. Like, movies today are a whole different scale. And they've actually redone these, and I don't mind the newer ones. I just, again, from a nostalgia standpoint, I want the classic. That's just me. I think they did okay. But anyway, let's go back to 95. Couple really cool things. First of all, when they were casting this for Johnny Cage's role, they tried to cast Johnny Depp and Tom Cruise. They were considered for the role. And actually, you know who originally had the role of Johnny Cage? We just talked about it. Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee had that and then passed away. So they had to move on to, like, this unknown guy, Landon Ashby, right? Like, this, wow, what a drop down for actors for Johnny Cage. But yeah, so Cameron Diaz was actually given the role of Sonya Blade, but she hurt her wrist while she was training for the part. And Bridget Wilson Sampras, who previously turned down the role to appear in Billy Madison, actually was then brought back around. So all happening around the same time. Really cool stuff. Tom Cruise, like we said, turned down the role of Johnny Cage. Instead, he decided to film this movie. Maybe we'll talk about it later. Mission, Impossible, something like that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that movie, but he turned it down to do Mission Impossible. A lot of really cool things. So this movie, just in general, checked every box for me as far as, like, what I wanted from this. I watched it a lot. Annihilation came out like 2 years after that and did a couple things where it's like, Johnny Cage dies in the first 30 seconds. Sorry if it's a spoiler alert, but the movie came out in 97. You should have seen it by now. they changed the actors for Raiden, and he says that stupid like, "You like my haircut?" They couldn't even give him a wig, like he had, like, that's dumb, right? So Annihilation added a couple cool things with Reptile and stuff, but I'm going back to just the original Mortal Kombat.
It also
95.
added some awesome Goro.
Yeah. And then he punches Goro in the Goros, and that's how. But
oh man,
Mortal Kombat, man, get over here, finish him. Dude, we want to talk about soundtrack, like just that techno rave kind of. Good stuff. So
Mortal Kombat.
I don't think you're as big of a fan of this one, but probably more so than Street Fighter. So
let me jump in this. Let me jump in this. I love this movie. Let me retract on what I said before. I love this movie. I saw this in the theater. I had this soundtrack. I love Mortal Kombat. This movie was awesome. What I meant by it was it's not a good movie. And it's not a good movie. There are so many reasons why it's not. But I love this movie. The soundtrack, that song was like my theme music for like 2 years, right? And then my favorite character though. So I loved Scorpion in this, right? I mean, he was my dude in the game.
Best character. Easy.
But get over here. And when that when it came out and it had like a face.
Get over here!
But dude, I love Kano.
Oh yeah.
And he talked with an Australian deep voice. It was the dude from Jag. And he didn't do a whole bunch, but I loved his character in this. And like he had like the silver eye. But Baraka, right? Yeah. Baraka was the one I was kind of disappointed in. I was really hoping would maybe get a bigger space in these movies because he was so awesome in the game. But he was the Blanca, if you will. That's why I kind of got mixed up. But I love this movie. Did you see the new one? BJ, I know you've seen the new one. Yeah, did you see the new one?
Yeah, I've seen the new one.
I haven't watched the new one.
I own it.
I mean, I know it's right on HBO Max. I've been meaning to watch it. I heard so many bad things about it. I want to watch it for myself. But I was listening to the advice of young kids, and I was like, I really feel I got to watch it myself. But you guys, you're our age type thing. Did y'all like it?
It's okay. I'll just leave there. I mean, it's not. It leaves.
But the effects are better, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, you're gonna have that. That just comes with time. But I think that they missed something. They missed something in it, and it's not to me. And here's the thing. It's what I like about like superhero movies, and I don't want movies that try too hard to just be the most epic thing ever. Like, just be what you are. And I think that's why I like Street Fighter, and that's why I like Mortal Kombat. Street Fighter is more of a just in a nostalgia, funny, whatever. But even this Mortal Kombat, like they were true to what, like no one's expecting this to be the greatest movie to ever be on the silver screen. Like, no, just have a fun hour and a half, whatever it is, of watching this movie of people fighting each other in crazy worlds. Right? That's what I want to see. And that's what I think. And so to me, the Mortal Kombat that came out now didn't really hit the mark on the Mortal Kombat side of things. It was an okay movie. I don't know. It was missing something for me.
What do you think, BJ?
Tell you the truth, when they added another character who's never been in the game or anything, they just added him to the storyline of Mortal Kombat. I thought that was trash. I guess you could say I enjoyed the fatalities in the movie, but as far as the storyline, I think they could have did a little better, or it was rushed. I mean,
So what do you think about the original movie?
oh, the original movie, I enjoyed it. I actually went to see the in the theaters to go see it. I believe I took my little cousin to go see it. Enjoyed it.
I mean, it's
Because,
always a good movie to bring your little cousin. I mean, that's
yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I took him to go see Space Jam. Hey, but as far as another video game movie brought to live action, even the fact of the matter is, a martial artist by the name of Keith Cook, he played Reptile
Mhm.
in the first movie, and then he played Sub-Zero brother, who had the scar in the second movie, and
Right.
I believe his screen time was shorter in the second movie than it was in the first movie. Well, he died in the first movie, so I mean, but he is one of my favorite late
that
'80s, early '90s martial
that
artists.
reptile scene was pretty dope. I love this pick, and what you're doing is you're kiboshing any chance of us having a video game movie Rushmore, because you're telling us right now. I mean,
I-
so
Well, okay.
I'm just playing. Hey, well, let me jump into mine. Well, I'm Crushmoreing. I'm Crushmoreing right here, and I'm Crushmoreing with BJ, The Matrix, baby. There it is, man. Look, I told you these are my favorite movies. I had 5 CDs or DVDs in that dorm room. All of these are on those 5 DVDs.
Remove any metallic items you're carrying, keys, loose change.
I could tell you, every one of these ones that I'm going to show you are the ones that I had that I remember, and I watched them over and over. The Matrix, every reason we already said. Here's all 3 for you, Andy. I don't have Animatrix anymore. I used to. I don't have any of the other movies. Actually, I had a garage sale where I was just like, you know what? I don't want my DVDs anymore, and I sold them all for like $2. And so the other ones that I'm missing are the ones that were purchased. But here's the deal.
I got a
Matrix.
question.
Yeah.
Didn't we all, as a group, go see Matrix together?
I think
In
we went and
closing?
saw the second one. Didn't we go see the
I thought we
second one
saw the
together?
first. I thought we saw the first one, all of us
We-
together.
Well, no, it couldn't have been the first one. Let's see, when's this come out? This one came out in 99. Yeah. So we did. We went and saw this together.
Like I said, it was you. I think Grubs, just a whole bunch of us
Yeah.
as a group went to go see it together.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did. 1999. Dude, so that's 1999. The Wachowski brothers are the ones that put it together. The everything that we talked about and more, the whole idea of Neo, the plugging in the Matrix, that whole scene when he comes unplugged and it's got those robots and all that, and he's like in a embryo egg out in the middle. I'm like, bro, who thinks of this? I mean, you like, and then your mind just starts racing. What if there is something like this? Like, oh my God. Like, and that's just how and I watched it with my wife, and my wife, like since then, not back in 99. And she's like, I just don't understand it. Like sometimes like things like this, like you just can't think outside of the box. And this is a lot of out of the box thinking. I just love the way it makes you think. The action in it is phenomenal. I do think you mentioned Andy, the twins. That's like the best part of that next one, of the twins in that movie. These two they're okay. They extend the story a little bit, but it's definitely not like one. It's definitely not part one. And the new one that just came out, it's okay. It's not phenomenal, but I do love it. And Animatrix is probably my number 2, to be honest, behind the regular Matrix. But yeah, number 3, my TJ Jazzy Jeff, is the Matrix.
I love that. I mean, we've said all of those reasons, but so have you seen the memes online that like proof that we live in the Matrix, and it'll be like a bird in the sky, but it's not flying, or something, or like or like a glitch that it's like happening. Like, what in the world? Makes you think, man. It's one of those.
I might have to watch this movie.
Theory movie type thing. So, yeah, good stuff, man. Keanu,
man. And look, this guy was, Bill and Ted, man. Like Speed, like. Anyways, all right. So we are halfway through our mountain, and it is time to get us a little commercial. What does the old Rushmore show have cooked up for us now? Well, we'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Rushmore show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more. If you've been here with us and you've enjoyed the commercial, you enjoy where we're going, give us a little love. Hit the like button, the share, all that stuff. More importantly, do not, like, all those things are cool. The most important thing you can do for us is put your top 4 in the comments, build the community. If you don't like our picks, that's fine. Give us what you like. And so, all right, well, we're going to find out what BJ likes next. And BJ, what's your number 2, your link on the mountain? Link for Abraham Lincoln, for any of our new guests. What is your number 2?
Y'all really ain't going to be ready for this. I picked this one because it basically is theater release was 1980, and a lot of rappers, especially the Wu-Tang, actually used this on the Jesus album. My link is Shogun Assassin.
Okay.
Ooh.
This right here, this movie, it started out as a series over in Japan.
Journey through a lost empire. And a loving father who has the power of a dozen armies in one sweep of his mystic blade.
Of Lone Wolf and Cub, and they took episodes from that series in Japan, dubbed it, of course, and made movies out of the series. Some of the craziest movies, craziest scenes, where there's even one scene where Lone Wolf cuts at a female ninja, and she actually jumps out of her clothes. I mean, she has like a little sheer suit on and runs back, and he couldn't catch her because she was a ninja. But this movie right here, some of the people up there will say the enemy suffered from high blood pressure because as soon as they get cut, their head get cut off. It's just, I mean, it's a classic. Hey, the RZA can't be wrong.
I don't think I've seen this. I mean, maybe I have, but like, you see all those like, kung fu movies and all that kind of fun stuff. And you think about the Chuck Norris versus Bruce Lee and all those just really cool things. And obviously the nod with Wu-Tang and all that kind of stuff. So man, it's cool to see that. You see a lot of that influence still with, a lot of the animes and different things that are out there too. And just a really kind of cool culture. It's one of those blind spots for me, because I didn't grow up watching that kind of stuff, but I do appreciate it. So that's a cool pick. Definitely a shock, but I mean, I say a shock, obviously for you, it works for you, but I don't know how many people would throw that out there. Maybe, I'd be surprised to see in our comments if we've got other people who are Kung Fu movie fans. And dude, that's awesome stuff, man.
I kind of had an idea that you might bring in some of this, BJ, because I remember at Cannon Air Force Base that you were big into Wu-Tang. And I remember that very distinctly, that the Wu-Tang, not community, but the Wu-Tang like following, kind of cultish following, is very Kung Fu oriented. And I love a lot of what Wu-Tang does. And I wouldn't say it's a blind spot. This is something that I've even tried to cultivate a little bit, and wanting to almost love Kung Fu. Like Kung Fu theater as a kid used to come on like Sundays, like after the 700 Club, or whatever. And David Carradine, would be on, whatever it may be. And I've always tried to want to watch, like the movie The Hero, or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I love all that kind of stuff. It's so cinematically beautiful and amazing. But it's just something that I even thought about making a short of Kung Fu. And I was like, I would do it an injustice, because I would probably pick not anything that I would really love. I would just have to research it all, right? But I will say this. I thought you were going to say the 36th Chamber, because that's the one that, in my mind, when it comes to Wu-Tang, that I always think of with them, 36th Chamber of Shaolin, or whatever the heck it is. But I love that you brought this in, because that tells everybody who you are, because I know that's your jam. I just wish I had a little bit more experience with this. I don't hate this. I think it's freaking cool. I for whatever reason, it's almost like anime though. Like I love anime, but I love the idea of liking anime and watching it and that kind of following. But it's very similar with this. It's just like I've never actually grown that liking even further. So I appreciate the ad. Rushmore community. Any Kung Fu fans out there, throw what your top 4 Kung Fu movies are in the bottom. So Andy, where are you going with your link, man?
So this movie is going to feature 2 actors. Well, definitely one of them that is going to be on your goats of action actors, right? I don't know. This is probably not going to be ranked as his number 1 action movie, but again, for me, I love this movie. Again, I go back to my criteria. There's elements of comedy in each of these. There's some more so than others. This one's got a healthy balance of action and comedy, and just a fantastic movie. This is such a good movie. I love this movie. I don't think I'm going to get hate on this movie. I think this is going to be, thank you for saying this. Okay, so let's go back. 1993 now is where we're gonna park in 93 for these next 2 films. Okay, so we're going furthest back in time on mine to the year 1993.
Back in time.
And I believe soon we're going to be talking about science fiction movies. This is a science fiction one. But I wanted to add it to my action movies because I'm not sure this would make my top 4 sci-fi movies. But it'll make sense here in a minute. And my number 2, my link on my Rushmore of action movies, Demolition Man. Love this movie. This movie is so good. So here it is. Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Sandra Bullock, just a classic. You know what's funny about this movie? So it's filmed in the distant future.
The seashells?
2032 is the year. So we're talking in 9 years. We'll be there. I don't know if the world's going to be there, but maybe it will. It's takes place in Los Angeles, but at this point, Los Angeles is this like utopia, or so it seems, this utopia, this perfect society, no crime, like all this kind of stuff that's happening. Sandra Bullock's character loves to.
I literally fell in love with Sandra Bullock in this movie.
It's so good, right? Like how clueless she is to like crime.
I was 15.
And how, so Sylvester Stallone's a cop, I think, from like the 90s time, and Wesley Snipes is this criminal who's like cryogenically frozen and then is defrosted in 2032. And
Is it cold in here, or is it just me? Good memory.
Look in my eyes, John. I'll see you in hell.
Again, they go through all this stuff, and it's all of this happening in this crimeless society, but then you realize there's this whole underground of crime and all this kind of stuff that happens here too. And what's funny about this is that Taco Bell at the time is now this like 5-star establishment restaurant of just amazing eating. It's a perfect mix for me, again, of comedy, of action, of just a great, really good plot, great movie. There's the classic scene of the going to the bathroom and you don't have toilet paper, but you got 3 seashells that they've never explained before. It doesn't go explain. Nobody knows the answer to it. Oh, you don't know about the seashells?
Where's your John Spartan?
Oh, he went to the bathroom. I guess he got all thawed out.
Oh, germs.
Look, I don't know if you guys know it, but you're out of toilet paper.
Did you say toilet paper?
Oh, they used handfuls of wadded paper back in the 20s.
I'm happy that you're happy, but the place where you're supposed to have the toilet paper, you got this little shelf with 3 seashells on it.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Like, just a great movie, man. I love this. All of the fighting scenes are really cool, but Wesley Snipes and everything. What's funny is, again, did a little research into this stuff before, just so I can get some different facts and things like that. But if you look at some of the filming of this, it looks like Wesley Snipes' moves are a little bit kind of, not what you would normally expect from him. They actually told him to slow down, like he was too good at all of this fighting and all of these things. So, and he insisted on doing his own stunts and not bringing in stunt doubles and things like that. So, a lot of the scenes had to be secretly reshot at night when Wesley Snipes left, some of the stunt ones. So, it didn't intend to go that way. But what's funny is that originally Wesley Snipes wasn't supposed to be cast in that. They originally wanted Jackie Chan to be the villain of this movie, but Jackie Chan turned it down because he's not a villain, right? Like, he didn't want to confuse his fans and have this whole thing of him playing a villain role. He's always the good guy, that kind of stuff. So he turned it down. Wesley Snipes again comes into that. There's other rumors that it said that Steven Seagal was going to play that, or even our friend Jean-Claude Van Damme was going to play it as well. So,
dude, Van Damme against Snipes, against Stallone would have been dope.
It would have been. But anyways, but I think, again, it's great casting. I love that Wesley Snipes got that role in there. Just so many good things. One more fun fact, just a fun fact. I'm gonna get your input on these after this. The hair that Wesley Snipes had in this, the blonde hair, actually, according to basketball great Dennis Rodman is one of what inspired him to rock that same haircut was Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man. So
Nice.
there you go.
I love that.
This is a great movie. Demolition Man is anytime it's on TV or anything, I'm stopping and I'm watching it.
I can tell you this. This is one of those times I just love the show. Because this is a movie that I have forgot about. But I'm gonna tell you, in 1993, well, probably about 1994, maybe, this was my favorite movie. Dude, I love this movie so much. I can't love it anymore. I'm so glad you brought it up. Simon Phoenix. I mean, Simon Phoenix was a freaking BA, dude. When he walks up and they're like, it's like spitting out the tickets to him, and he's just like telling it off and like whatever. He's just I fell in love with Wesley Snipes as an action hero because of this movie. And he's got several other that kind of even elevated him even further. But this is the start. This is the one where I was like, bro, he really is really awesome at martial arts. And I love him. Great movie. Sandra Bullock, I already said it, fell in love with her. Like literally, she's so precious in this movie. Like innocently, like it's your best friend, you know, she's just amazing. And let's just talk about Stallone's character. This is something, he's actually funny, right? Like he's usually kind of like either really stupid or just like, I'm just gonna shoot everybody. Right? He's funny in this. And you know, cryogenically he's brought back because he's the baddest cop ever, right? And so this is on the heels of kind of Terminator and whatever, and it's, you know, big Arnold's over there shooting everybody with T2 and stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to go back in time and this and forward and whatever and cryogenic, but I'm going to be funny and I'm going to bring on it's a great movie. And the underground stuff is cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, BJ, what you know about Demo Man?
Hands down, classic movie, most definitely funny, some of the best one-liners. I mean, you had Rob Schneider in there, like, you know, I mean, the movie's a classic.
I gotta know where I can find this right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's streaming anywhere because it's definitely one to rewatch again.
Oh man, Demolition Man.
It you know, what's funny is that it had futuristic technology that was shown there, and again at the time it was future, but like video conferencing. What are we doing right now? How are we filming this? Like the technology that's shown in there, the cars that self-driving cars and voice activated devices, like ooh, future, and then it's like, oh, there we are. But again, we're only 9 years out of when this movie is set, so pretty soon Taco Bell is going to be the place to be.
Well, Andy, I believe that is a stellar pick. If you guys haven't seen Demolition Man, I'm total recommendation here. Go find a way to watch it. I just tried to pull it up streaming. Looks like it's like $2.99. I might even risk it for the biscuit, man, and check that thing out because I haven't seen it in a minute. But man, I'm gonna jump into my link. Let me just tell you, my Link and my George are probably, spoiler alert, on my mountain for my favorite movies of all time. It's really hard to actually do that. It's hard to do this every single week, but these two movies are probably on my mountain. This particular movie that I'm pulling up here is a heist movie. It is a heist movie. It has one of the best casts in the history of casts ever. I will rival it to many of the other big names, but I'm gonna this movie. Let me give you a little statisticians on it. This movie came out in 1995, so I was a junior. It's directed by Michael Mann. Here's your stars: Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Val Kilmer. Bro, this movie is awesome, and we just lost one of the amazing guys that was in this movie, which we talked about back in war movies, we're going with none other than Heat. The movie Heat. Now listen, I watched this movie last night, and it still stands up. This movie is so good. I don't care what anybody says. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Couple things. It has the best shootout scene in the history of theater. Right? Halfway through the movie, they rob the bank, right? They rob the bank, and in the robbery, there is a shootout and them trying to get escape. The cops are tearing them down. If you haven't seen this movie, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling it. But dude, it is one of the I just hit me in my Tom Sizemore. Dude, Tom Sizemore, who just passed away, is in this movie. Dude, I just absolutely love this movie. And not Ashley Judd is Val Kilmer's wife. And then there's so many awesome scenes. How they set up the team, they build the team. Now here's the deal. This is one of my favorite. It's so quotable. And who? What are you up? Owl? Dude, Al Pacino is hilarious. You know, he talks about his buttocks and how his head's all the way up it. And yeah, there are so many funny lines in this movie, so many great one-liners. But this is one of the coolest things about this movie. And I'm open for discussion, but this is the only movie that I can possibly think of where the hero and the villain, the good guy and the bad guy, meet and have a conversation before the ending happens.
Brother, you are going down.
There's a flip side to that coin. What if you do got me boxed in? Then I gotta put you down.
And discuss what's going to happen and that it's going to go down. And basically, De Niro is he's a robber. He's a bank robber. He's done a couple jobs, and this is going to be his last job. Right? Val Kilmer is one of his side guys. He hires a bunch of other guys, and Pacino is the great cop. And I mean, there's a time where he smashes his TV and he rips it out the wall, and he's like, he's divorcing his wife, and he's like, "You can have everything, but you can't watch my TV." And he rips the TV out the wall, and he's just freaking out. Like you just get this sense of that Pacino is cracking because of De Niro, right? And they decide to meet for coffee. And in the coffee, Pacino looks over at him and he goes, well, De Niro looks at Pacino and he's basically like, you know, we're gonna do this. And Pacino says, let me just settle it up. If you do this, if you rob your bank, I'm gonna take you out. And he basically goes, there's a flip side to that coin, which is a term I use all the time. And I got it from this movie. There's a flip side of that coin, and that basically he's gonna rob the bank and get it. Well, I'm not gonna spoil the movie. I want you all to watch it if you haven't seen it. But they obviously robbed the bank, and there is a scene with Pacino and De Niro that this all comes to a head. And it's a long movie. It's one of the longest movies that I ever watched back in the 90s. It's like a 3-hour movie, but at like an hour and a half, you get that shootout, and it's phenomenal. I love this movie. Hands down, greatest crime movie, in my opinion. greatest heist movie, greatest shootout, greatest cast. Anyways, the movie Heat.
Right. So here's the thing. I agree. This is a great movie. This movie, along with quite a few other action movies or movies in this genre, they're tough to watch now. Like when there's movies that are cursing like crazy, it's one thing to have violent, but you mentioned like you can hardly share any quotes from this movie.
Yeah, you saw how I had to stop. There's a lot of F-bombs in this movie, and that's what makes Pacino and De Niro's character. I mean, they are.
So that's the only thing really kind of holding me back now currently from, again, I've got a family, it's like, it's just, where do I find time to put that in there? And you watching a clean version of it on TV and it's like, it's a different movie.
Or just skipping everything.
Love it with it, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, but other than that, with all of that aside, this is one of the greatest, definitely crime heist movies. I mean, this is the standard. If you're going to rank this kind of movie, this is what you base it off of. Where does it rank in terms of this movie? So yeah, I mean, great cast is fantastic. I mean, you get Pacino and De Niro together and then you throw Val in there. I mean, yeah, Sizemore, and just, it's a great cast. It's a really great cast. It's a really great movie. It's long. That's one unfortunate part of it. But even with it being long, it holds you the whole time. I mean, you are in that movie for sure. And anyway, I'm repeating everything you said. So, but I totally agree with you. So, BJ, what do you think about this one?
Y'all pretty much said it best. Great heist movie. Even when you up there mentioned it, the two scenes, you just mentioned the two scenes in the movie that stuck in my head. The TV scene and basically, them sitting there talking about it, because really,
over a cup of coffee.
I
love it.
Like that scene in itself, like, you would want. I mean, that right there.
I mean, usually the bad guy's being hunted. He knows that he's doing it. He knows you're the bad guy, and I know you're going to do this, and I'm taking you down.
You will most definitely. How many scenes you seen where Superman comes in? Lex, I know you're going to do this. Are you going to stop me? I mean, that scene in itself.
Andy is right though. It does have a lot of language, and then there's even one, sex scene, if you will. I mean, there's a lot of that in there. But I'm gonna tell you, cinematically, this movie's just great to me. I love it. It's not something that I would probably go see in the movies now. But when we're talking about best action movies, I had to have it. I had to have, like, it's the very first one that popped in my mind just because of that middle shootout. So, well, look, we are to the George. We're to the George, old G-Dub himself. BJ, kick off the top of the mountain. We're at the Paramount. We're at the top of the mountain. Let's go.
This movie right here, I know most definitely y'all don't have. Because this movie came out in 1973. This movie right here, I have had from VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. I even have it on one of my streaming services. I believe it's on Netflix too. But my movie, my joy. Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon. Just like as you was talking about Brandon Lee, how the Crow was about to boom, boom, boom. Enter the Dragon was basically gonna launch Bruce Lee into, I guess you could say, that crossover stardom, where he was about to become larger than life, both over in Asia and over here in the States. But unfortunately, he passed away before this movie was actually released in theaters. And I mean, from the classic one-liners, you coming straight out of the comic book by Jim Kelly. It was his introduction to you see him Bolo and you know, even Mortal Kombat kind of takes a little bit a fighting tournament on an island. This movie in itself, I can sit and watch thousands of times. It was one of my favorite childhood movies, and that's why it's my George. To me, Bruce Lee will always be immortal in the sense that some of his teachings and his philosophies I use today. Even one of his quotes is, don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to deal with a hard life.
Yeah, I love Bruce Lee. He is on the cover. I'm sorry. I love Bruce Lee. He is one of the one posters that I have hanging up in my room at my school. And he's got great quotes. He was an amazing role model and a guy that I would love to have followed, right? He's only had a few movies as well. I mean, just like his son. He's like, in pop culture, you would think he's done way more than he did, right? As far as movies go and all that. But I mean, phenomenal, decorated for the Wing Chun, and him Wing Chun, isn't that his thing, or was it that the other guy? I can't ever remember all these martial arts.
He pretty much started off
what did Bruce Lee do?
Under
Wing Chun, I thought.
And then he developed Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm not gonna act like I know it all. I love Ip Man, by the way. We were talking about subtitles last week or week before, and this is one of the movies I like watching is Ip Man and learning that all about that. But man, I once you said 1973, and I knew I actually Googled right then. I was like, Enter the Dragon, what year? Boom, and you went, what? I was like, oh yeah. I knew that. I love this pick.
Bruce Lee's name or his character name in the movie was Lee. I thought it was funny that Jackie Chan's character in Rush Hour also was Lee.
Yeah.
Yes. I always thought that again, going back to my Street Fighter pick way back, that man, if we could have got Bruce Lee as Fei Long in Street Fighter, I mean, it's like that's
or Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat,
or we could go Liu Kang even too. But to me, Fei Long was Bruce Lee. I mean, that's all that character was. They didn't beat around,
especially when he was wearing those yellow pants.
That's who he is. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be the classic. This is the one it goes to. And it's funny, I was just, as you were talking about, I'm just kind of like looking through stuff, and there's different conspiracy theories out there that Enter the Dragon and Mortal Kombat are the same movie. So I'm going to have to go. It's interesting. I want to go check that out. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Always
man.
Fun
So
stuff.
that's a good pick. It's crazy that they both Brandon and him died tragically so young, but man, that's good stuff. Enter the Dragon, great pick. That's a George on many people's lists, especially if you love the kung fu. So hey, Andrew,
continuing, actually finishing this comedy / action train Rushmore here. This is nostalgia. This movie, again, is one of the goats of of action, of the action genre. He was absolutely mentioned multiple times in Manuary when we talked about this. But again, this is not going to be the movie that most people jump to for it. But I think this is a perfect movie. A perfect movie. Now, it actually, I'll talk about some stats here in a minute. But 1993, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Last Action Hero. I love this movie, Last Action Hero.
I knew you were going there once you said
it. Here's the thing. This movie is a movie within a movie. It's a really cool concept. There's this kid finds Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's Jack Slater, this action hero. It kind of pokes fun at it kind of pokes fun at some of the action genre, over the top, crazy movies of this star, but he like lives it out. Like, think about as a kid, like you wanting to step into these movies and to meet kind of your heroes of film and all this kind of stuff. And this one kid does get this ticket and is able to do that. But, you know, dude, the Ripper is a pretty terrifying character, man. Like when we're talking about villains, like he's awesome. You got Charles Dance plays Benedict, who's like, again, because they're poking fun at like every action hero has like this dapper Englishman as like the villain, right? You know, and just a great movie. It kind of a lot of satire in it. There's a lot of like pop.
I love Bruce Lee. He is one of the one posters that I have hanging up in my room at my school. And he's got great quotes. He was an amazing role model and a guy that I would love to have followed, right? He's only had a few movies as well. I mean, just like his son. He's like, in pop culture, you would think he's done way more than he did, right? As far as movies go and all that. But I mean, phenomenal, decorated for the Wing Chun and him Wing Chun. Anyways, I'm not gonna act like I know it all. I love Ip Man, by the way. We were talking about subtitles last week or week before, and this is one of the movies I like watching is Ip Man and learning that all about that. But man, I once you said 1973, and I knew. I actually Googled right then. I was like, Enter the Dragon, what year? Boom. And you went, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. I knew that.
I always thought that, again, going back to my Street Fighter pick way back, that, man, if we could have got Bruce Lee as Fei Long in Street Fighter, I mean, it's like, that's.
Or Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat.
Or we could go Liu Kang even too. But to me, Fei Long was Bruce Lee. I mean, that's all that character was. They didn't, that's who he is. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be the classic. This is the one it goes to. And it's funny, I was just, as you were talking about, I'm just kind of like looking through stuff, and there's different conspiracy theories out there that Enter the Dragon and Mortal Kombat are the same movie. So I'm going to have to go. It's interesting. I want to go check that out. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Pick. Andrew.
Continuing, actually finishing this comedy / action train Rushmore here. This is nostalgia. This movie, again, is one of the goats of action, of the action genre. He was absolutely mentioned multiple times in Manuary when we talked about this. But again, this is not going to be the movie that most people jump to for it. But I think this is a perfect movie. A perfect movie. Now, it actually, I'll talk about some stats here in a minute. But 1993, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Last Action Hero. I love this movie, Last Action Hero.
I knew you were going there once you said it.
Here's the thing. This movie is a movie within a movie. It's a really cool concept. There's this kid finds Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's Jack Slater, this action hero, kind of pokes fun at it kind of pokes fun at some of the action genre, over the top, crazy movies of this star, but he like lives it out. Like, think about as a kid, like you wanting to step into these movies and to meet kind of your heroes of film and all this kind of stuff. And this one kid does get this ticket and is able to do that. But, you know, dude, the Ripper is a pretty terrifying character, man. Like when we're talking about villains, like he's awesome. You got Charles Dance plays Benedict, who's like, again, because they're poking fun at like every action hero has like this dapper Englishman as like the villain, right? You know, and just a great movie. It kind of a lot of satire in it. There's a lot of like pop culture references of the time and other actors that make appearances in this as well. Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. This is a great movie. You know that the original title of this movie, you ready for an amazing title, was called Extremely Violent. That was the name of the movie. Do you know that Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia herself, actually was one of the screenwriters who rewrote the script from Extremely Violent to what we now know as Last Action Hero. And they were only given 10 months to get the film made. 10 months. And they put out this classic. It's just a good one. You know, it's crazy though, because like I said, I was kind of starting to allude to, it was really a box office disappointment. It didn't do well when it was released, but since then has really gained that, again, cult following of just great movies. Again, it blended action and comedy together so well. Man, just an overall, just a great movie. I love this movie. To me, yeah, there's so much more to say about it, but go see this movie, please. Last Action Hero. This is 90s. This is every kid's dream to step into those movies, and you gotta love it.
So, reason I started giggling, Cadre this week, which my picture's right there. Andy, we missed you, and all of our new Cadre friends that are now watching. Hopefully, you've made it this far. Hey, welcome. But Cadre this week, I'm sharing with Clint that we're going to do action heroes, and he just goes, he's just walking by, and he's just like, Last Action Hero, and like that's the movie he just kind of just blurted out.
It's so good.
And I was like, man, that movie's so good. So they're in like the movie theater, they get sucked in type thing, that whole deal. But this movie's great, man. This movie is great, and the Benedict character is so freaking cool. But you forgot to mention Bridget Wilson with her 12-inch feet. She's in this movie too, dude. I think you're just following her around. I did
do Bailey Madison a couple weeks ago, so
yeah. So, anyways, and Mortal Kombat, and so, anyways, this movie's fantastic.
Also, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So there's a little, little teaser. Yeah,
He's made
a couple appearances today.
BJ, do you like this movie?
Yes, I do. To me, one of the characters that always stood out for me was Lieutenant Becker.
Okay.
He was I'm like, why is he so angry? Why is he hollering all the time? like, come on, man. I know you the sergeant in charge and everything, but must we yell all the time? But no, it's a classic movie. Well, I don't want to use the word classic. It's a great movie. Seen it so many times. Like I said, it's one of those that really, sticks in your mind and stuff like that. The Last Action Hero.
Yeah, and it's not the one that, again, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're gonna, nobody's mentioned it yet, but potentially Benjamins. But I think, if you're going to talk about goats of action movies, I mean, you could throw out 4 Arnie movies, easy. This may not be one of your 4, but for me, again, because of when it came out, again, I'm 4, so, but I mean, I watched it for years past that too. Like it was a big movie at that time. It sticks out to me from a nostalgia standpoint. So many scenes that again, as you talk about it, you just start thinking about those things, and man, just a great movie. I love it. So, Kirk, you're going to go ahead and wrap us up. The final one, the George, the actual Last Action Hero. What is your pick?
I'm going to be honest. This is probably my George of movies. Year 2000, Ridley Scott, Russell Crowe, The Gladiator.
Yeah,
bro. Let me just give it to you.
Why doesn't he go and reveal himself and tell us all you're doing? You do have a name.
My name is Gladiator.
How dare you show your back to me? Slave! You will remove your helmet and tell me your name.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Commander of the armies of the North, General of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true Emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. The Gladiator. I love this movie. I named my dog Maximus Decimus Meridius. As soon as this movie came out, I almost didn't put it on this because I wanted to save it for whenever we do epics, but I'm just going to put it back there. It's going to be there again. When we do epics later, it's there. This is my movie. This is who I am. This is the type of movie I like. If you've looked at my shorts, even when I'm talking about fantasy movies, I'm talking about big epic things, and I'm writing a book. I've kind of mentioned it here and there, and there are parts of this thing that are in my book. Like, I just love the idea of just going on a journey, the fallen soldier, the fallen commander coming back and overtaking, the idea that he was the commander and he ends up being at the lowest of the low in the Colosseum when he fights those lions and those things came out, and he's oh my gosh, this movie is just it mind-blowing. And then he has the moments where he's kind of like, in heaven, if you will, because he's not Christian. So I mean, like, he's in this like space where it kind of like a heaven where he's like finding his wife and his afterlife. It's just so good. I love this movie beyond belief. I've watched it I don't know how many times. I there was a time where I used to watch it probably every other week or so. I love this movie. It's my George, and I couldn't have this without saying it. So there you go.
This is one of those movies that, I mean, it's ultimate guy movie, right? Like, this is again, you go way back and you look at like the Odysseys and the Clash of the Titans and this whole like Greek, Rome, this all of this kind of historical Troy and just all of these things that are out there, and then you get to this one and it's just this epic, and it's kind of one of those like not always told stories, not like the classic battles that you hear about in history class and everything. This is just kind of like those things that happen. But dude, Joaquin Phoenix, dude, in this movie is so good. Like,
he's like,
yeah, dude, that scene right there. I like, dude, this is such a great movie.
The guy his friend, the African American guy, the slave that is fighting with him. I love that guy's character. He's so awesome. But like when he finds his like he's fighting to get back to his family and his family's been destroyed. I mean, oh God, I love this movie. I love this movie.
Again, just when we talk about these movies, I start looking through just like screenshots and stuff, and it's like just remembering how amazing this was. This was, what'd you say, the year 2000? Is that when it was?
2000, Ridley Scott, Russell Crowe, put him on the map. I mean, he had a few decent movies before this. This made him a superstar. This like elevated him to high standards. I remember after this was like Master and Commander and like a bunch of really big films that took a lot out of him. I mean, like this is
A Beautiful Mind.
Oh yeah, Beautiful Mind was shortly after that. Yeah.
But yeah, man.
This is done by DreamWorks and Universal Pictures, man. That DreamWorks, wow, remains one of the most iconic and beloved action movies of all time.
Yeah.
Hey, BJ, Gladiator, where you at?
Some of the fighting scenes in that movie.
I've always wanted his helmet. That's on my bucket list. Dude, that's on my bucket list of collections. I want to get the Gladiator Maximus's helmet when he's fighting as a gladiator.
Yeah, I mean, the movie itself, man. I mean, the visuals, just the story. It really pulls you in and stuff like that. I mean, the movie is so epic that even the WWE did the parody where Stone Cold was Maximus. Like it's you know that to me is that says something even about the film, that it's part of our culture.
One of my favorite quotes, man. And I don't know how he didn't say it yet. Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
That's I mean that's a
and then I mean so many movies have mimicked this. 300. You mentioned Troy and all that. 300, and then Troy, right? And all those movies that came after. But this is the crown jewel. It's the crown jewel. It's where it's at. If you don't like this movie, then you just don't like this kind of movie. So I mean, there's just no way. All right, man, we're at the end of the mountain. Good news, friends, hang around with us. We've got 12 more Benjamins on the way. We can't crush. Don't leave right now. Well, it was more like 7 seconds. Welcome back to the Rushmore Show. It's all about your top 5, and we're keeping it alive.
6, 7, 8.
6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go. We got 12 coming on the way. All right. BJ, you're first. Then Andy, then me. Let's wrap this thing up.
I'm going to have to go with the Warriors.
Warriors!
Oh, good one. Underrated video game. If you've ever played the Warriors video game, it's basically Grand Theft Auto, but the Warriors. It was super cool. Anyway, just throw that out there. Okay, I'll go with my next one. I couldn't get through the list here, and this is probably where you thought I was going, but I got to say it. Now, specific, because this is a bunch of these, but specifically to me, the best one of them is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard 3. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Samuel L. Jackson. Bruce Willis. Great movie.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going Die Hard before this movie started. I mean, anyways. All right, well, I'm going with my pick that I can't figure out a reason why this movie wasn't on my list already, but Blade. It is the one superhero movie. It is the one superhero movie that I was going to pick. And it's actually not even the high flyer. You guys mentioned Wesley Snipes, and this is how I envisioned Wesley in Demolition Man. Kind of what started that. So there you go. I got Blade. I do have part 2, but Trinity I don't have. Number 2, and I want to pick this one. But I'm going to wait for that one because I don't think you guys are going to pick that. This next movie is, I'm going to pick this one just in case, because this is the only one that I think you guys might snag. But I got to go with the classic one, Expendables, baby.
Yep.
Expendables. It's got all the action heroes in it. I'm going to knock that one out now just in case you guys are going to steal it. You're up.
My next one. Which one of these two do I want to go with? Because there's a chance that they get pulled. I'm going to do this one because it has elements of Kung Fu movies in it, and I'm worried that possibly DJ would take it. I'm going with Kill Bill. Kill Bill.
Volume 1 and 2. I'll put them together.
Yes, I'm both together. Uma Thurman, great movie. What you got, BJ?
Right.
You get the next
BJ,
two.
you get 2 picks.
I get 2 picks. Let's go with The Running Man.
Oh,
nice.
And Harry Gordy's Last Dragon. Bruce Leroy.
There you
go. Nice.
All right. So it didn't get taken from me. So I'm glad I'm coming back around and I'm going to take it now. Staying with Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction. Talking about movies that are really tough to watch now as a Christian. This is definitely one of them. But a great movie here, Pulp Fiction.
Dude, I am so happy. I got all 6 of them. I got all 8 of my movies. All right. Yes. No. All right. So the movie that I would have said last one, and I could even said it first. This is my favorite Western of all time. This is Bruce Willis's best movie, Last Man Standing. Boom. Oh my God. This movie is phenomenal. Christopher Walken. If you haven't seen this, do yourself a favor. And my last film is I'm gonna go with the new Matrix, John Wick.
Oh, we did.
John Wick. Bro, if you haven't seen this yet, it's my newest one on the whole mountain. John Wick, that whole series is phenomenal.
All right. My last one, I had to bring him in here as an actor because I got a little bit of pushback when I picked him in my action heroes, my action stars. And I'm going to go with my favorite of them. I'm going Denzel Washington's Man on Fire. Man on Fire. I love this movie. It's so good. Christopher Walken's in that one too. So there you go.
Cue the Fat Boy Slim.
Please don't cue that. Okay, BJ, you get every action movie left known to man. You get the last pick. What is your final Benjamin of action movies?
Since I brought up Lethal Weapon, I'm thinking about an actor who's in Lethal Weapon 4. Jet Li. It's an old kung fu movie called The New Legend of Shaolin.
All right. Bring the kung fu love in all of your stuff.
I thought you were going with the one, but man, nice pick, Jet Li. Jet Li is a freaking beast, dude. Well, look, man, that's our show for today. Andy, welcome back. DJ, welcome back. Rushmore community, welcome back. We still have 2 more episodes of May the Blockbuster Be With You. We have on deck sci-fi movies coming around the corner, and we're still trying to figure out what Dennis is doing. It was called Classics. I think we're moving on to animation movies. But hey, we'll see. We'll surprise you. But man, it's been a great month so far. Praying for Daphne still. BJ, we want to see your TikTok explode. Everybody that's still hanging around, go check out Baby Ox 78, right? It's Baby Ox 78. We'll put it down in the comments. We'll put it down in the comments. Make sure you leave your top 4. And man, I'm super excited where we're going. Thank you for loving us so much that you would hang out and spend an hour or so with us each and every week. Andy, bro, time to get back to Daphne. Let's end this thing.
You know how we end it. I'm glad to be back saying this. Paul, you did a great job last week. Hats off to you. But I'm bringing it back. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top
four.
And nothing more.
Peace.
Peace.